I didn't do that. I was
Dynamite. All three in the flesh.
It's fast to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Welcome everybody
Cheers.
to AEW Dynamite Download. The Dukes are in the house, baby. SPD, Crayfish, back at it again, homie. Where you at right now, SPD?
I am in Orlando-ish area right now in Florida.
Right.
Sunny Florida,
Right.
man.
Nice.
Not bad.
Nice. Sunny Florida, not bad. Are you working on your tan? Because I feel like a lot of AEW wrestlers were working on their tan over the last couple days.
I'm gonna do what they do best and use the spray tan can. And so
we will get into that later in the show. There's no denying it. MJF for once was not the one with the worst spray tan in all of AEW.
There wasn't the spray tan of the night for sure. I mean,
No.
which could be a new segment from here, us at Dynamite Download, the spray tan of the night. But we'll keep things positive. But as you look at this match card, which I love how AEW does these graphics to put it all together. We know this is never just this show, but there's always so many different layers going on within AEW. But the talent on this, a lot of the Dynamite Download favorites, I mean, we're talking about obviously Wardlow, the Acclaim, everyone on this card is a Dynamite Download favorite. And so this was a special show. And it delivered. It definitely delivered. It was the crowd was into it from the beginning, the way things kicked off, and then the crowd was so hot for that main event as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, from start to finish, this was an important show. I think we'll address the elephant in the room. The Cody Rhodes and Brandy departure. It looks like from AEW sent shockwaves throughout the entire internet wrestling community. Certainly was a stunning turn of events. And I think it was really important that AEW came out, really had, as you said, a positive show from start to finish. I mean, and the thing is, we're not going to be able to get into everything tonight because, you had little segments here and there, like Keith Lee had a little promo. You saw different CM Punk starting the show. Bryan Danielson, you see a lot of the layers of talent in this roster.
Right.
It's important to note this company has grown a lot since we started SPD. That the roster, if you and I went back to when AEW and when Dynamite Download started 73 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you went and you checked out that roster and you compared it to now. It's so dramatically different. So I think it's time. It's good to embrace the change. There's a lot of great stuff that happened on this episode, and let's get started right away with the guy who set the tone. I love the shirt. I love the mid shirt with the Burberry MJF. That's a nice one, but an intense side of CM Punk. There's a lot of the critics out there of Punk have said this is kind of a feel-good tour for CM Punk where he comes out to Cult of Personality, he waves at the fans, he says hello, he blows kisses to the crowd, everybody's everybody's happy and feeling good. This was not that CM Punk. This was a Punk who really was pissed, gave off those vibes of old school Punk. He even talked about it. I mean, he's been doing this for 20 years. This was one of those Punk promos where you could tell the fire was burning inside. And it was cool to see him recognize the impact that he's made on the careers of other people.
Yes, I love that part.
I thought that was pretty sweet.
I thought it was too, man. And it was a unique way to start the show. And like we've talked about time and time again, anytime AEW does start the show with a promo, it is always a home run. And not often, if ever, do you ever you see MJF and he doesn't say a word. And if anyone could do it, CM Punk's the guy to do it, where he can silence MJF for sure. And I love that they acknowledged, this photo that, have MJF like this was your best day of your life, and this was just another Friday.
Just another day. Yep, just another day.
It's going to be another Sunday for me at Revolution. And the fact that, I thought it was going to be a cage match and that's where we'd see that. But the fact that we're getting a dog collar match out of this is pretty epic. I mean, AEW put on one of the most, it's a tough one to top with Mr. Brody Lee and Cody Rhodes. It was executed perfectly. It was brutal. It was bloody. And like CM Punk said, man, the mat's not going to be stained with spray tan, but it's going to be stained with blood. And, the spray tan will wash away the blood, man. The blood stains are going to be there forever. So an intense CM Punk, a unique promo as he's always known to do so. And one that really got us excited for Revolution. And I think tonight was the stepping stone to Revolution, because
a lot of seeds were planted.
Two more weeks of Dynamite and Revolution is fastly approaching. And then we had the tag team match, triple threat approaching. We have this inner circle turmoil, but now we have a true, this is the first match announced. Am I right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that the
official match.
We know the face of the. I mean, we know the face of the Revolution ladder match will be on there. We know some of the matches that are going to be on the show, but this one has no questions. Everything is set in stone.
Yeah,
and I liked your idea of the cage match, but Punk even addressed it in his promo.
Yeah,
Max could run around. Max could find a way to weasel his way out of that situation.
True.
I remember when Punk literally chased MJF through the entire arena.
Hilarious.
And I remember your reaction. Yes, I remember your reaction,
funny.
how much you loved that, and how funny that was. And this is such a great way to really hit MJF where no one else has hit him before. The guy you can't outsmart being chained to your opponent. So it'll be really interesting to see. MJF likes to pride himself, as we've talked about. He's always playing chess while other people are playing checkers. It'll be very interesting to see how he finds a way to respond to this. Otherwise, he's going to get an ass whooping. Punk looks like he's ready to teach, and I like this, teach Max a lesson through humbling him with a big loss. That's a big statement.
It is a very big statement, man. I'm for this. I mean, we knew this was going to be a gold level feud, and it has been, and it totally has been.
Great point by
segment that was a segment that was really jam packed, in my opinion. Not only was Bryan Danielson Lee Moriarty match was very, very impressive. Lee really impressed me. I was really happy to see his showing, how well he did against, as some say, the best wrestler in the world right now. We throw that slogan around a lot, but it's no secret that Danielson can hold up to that as well. This is awesome chance by these guys was well deserved. It was a back and forth showing that I was all for, man. I did not expect this. And it delivered. It exceeded my expectations big time, man. And just Danielson's heel work continues to get better and better and better. The stuff that slapping Lee in the face, man, those brutal holds. This was a great back and forth match. But then to top it off, the way he finished the match, the submission and the flexing to the camera essentially was really, just kind of like salt in the wound, big time. Big salt in the wound for that finish. But I think that was very unique, very original, and just playing into that so much more in the match. Before we talk about after the match, what did you think of that showing of those two guys in the ring?
Yeah, I think that Danielson is as technically sound of a pro wrestler as it gets. And, I think that the comments in the chat echo how I felt watching this. And that's, this was a teacher and student. This is an Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker type of moment. This is one of those moments where you see a guy who's been doing it and really developing his craft all over the world to get to this stage, sort of teaching a young buck all that he doesn't know yet. You know what I mean? Like Lee Moriarty has a bright future ahead of him. There's no denying that. And, I like his energy level. I like his quickness. JR highlighted, one of the quickest, he kind of has the tiger style of professional wrestling.
Sure.
And he prides himself on that. But this cat got humbled in a big way. Bryan Danielson is such a master at what he does. And it was interesting because, when JR said it in commentary, how, Danielson's sadistic, he's got a sick, twisted, sadistic heart. At first I was like, I don't necessarily agree with that characterization of Danielson. I don't when I think of him, I don't think of it like this sadistic, evil guy.
No, I can agree with you.
But when you look at the way he wrestles some of his matches, there is this sadistic mentality of like, I need to prove to you how superior I am at this craft that we both do. There is this it's not just a pride. This heel side of Danielson that you've been talking about, there is this almost like this sick joy that he gets in doing the little things and making them painful, making them like really making his opponent squirm. And this was a great example of that. Danielson really showed off why he is so good at what he does. I really dig it. I love this. Obviously, as the heel of the group, I'm loving the work that he's doing. I'm interested a lot in where this is going. And it was post-match, the crowd was actually – it felt like the crowd was really into the idea of Danielson and Moxley getting together. There was a lot of chants.
Could you imagine these guys together? Oh, it would be unstoppable, in my opinion.
It really would be. I mean, honestly, I know that like this is probably going to lead to these two guys having a one-on-one match. I think the writing is on the wall. I think we all see Moxley planted the seed. But what if it's both? What if, like Moxley said in his promo, he doesn't team up with he doesn't stand next to anybody who he doesn't shed blood with? Right. What if these two push each other to the limit? What if they beat the absolute hell out of each other?
Which they will.
And then they earn each other's respect, because that's one of the things about Danielson in this, as he's trended more and more towards the heel, it's that he knows how good he is, and I don't know about you, but it feels almost like there's no one on my level. He doesn't respect the person who's coming in the ring with him, because he knows how much better he is. You go into the ring with Moxley, there are few people in this company who have been as dominant as that guy. I really like where that could go. And I think that Moxley addressed it in the promo. Why he tried to come up with reasons to say no. And there's very few reasons that come to mind why this shouldn't happen. I could go on for days with the amount of young talent that would work really well in a protege role under these guys. And I feel like, I'll throw it to you, SPD, but I feel like with the Inner Circle starting to kind of unravel, I know we'll get into that more. I know you're devastated. I see with the Inner Circle starting to a little unravel. I see with sort of the AHFO, I think that the crowd is having a hard time understanding.
Sure.
Like, I think that there are some seeds there where that could be falling apart a little bit, even though we saw them on the same page in the main event. What I'm getting at is I do feel like there is room for another group, a small. I mean, I think that they could really build something here if they allowed these guys to run with this idea.
It would be, like I said, it would be legendary. It would be very, very tough to stop that train once it starts going. I am more intrigued with a one-on-one match, because the way the storytelling that Moxley is doing right now is incredible, and the fans are eating it up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But the storytelling, the promo that Mox had was a home run, man. And the fact that getting to, as he said, able to slay the dragon he's never been able to slay, and he's been winless against Danielson. So I'm more intrigued of a one-on-one to get that win. And then, like you said, I would be happy for both. Like you go on one-on-one battle, and then you consider that, like, it's fantasy booking to its finest. Like, wow, we saw what Moxley and Punk were doing together. Imagine
Yeah.
Danielson and Moxley
Yeah.
together. But both guys don't need it. But the fact that they would do that would be pretty incredible stuff, man.
You said it too, man. Moxley's promo was a home run, and it makes you wonder, like, what was the promo of the night? I mean, Punk killed it. Then Moxley absolutely crushed it with a logical, intelligent promo, a good response. A lot of good stuff on tonight's show, man. I mean, and then, from there, you get into the Wardlow match, a man who allows his violence to do the talking, going against one of the best talkers in AEW, Max Caster, Platinum Max.
Listen.
I love every time you hear that siren, dude. I don't know about you. A smile comes across my face every time I hear it, because I know I'm about to laugh and be entertained. Platinum Max did it again. Anthony Bowen, those guys, the Acclaimed are clicking on all cylinders, man. Even in a big loss like this against the War Dog, these guys know how to make my eyes glued to the TV, because they're absolutely hilarious. I love seeing what they're doing.
You're right.
And they both are, I'll be honest with you, we saw them lose that big opportunity at the tag titles, but man, these guys both can go in singles competition too. We've seen that. It's really impressive.
The standout, obviously, like, we do love, everyone loves the Acclaim. We love the Acclaim, and Wardlow is our top guy, one of our top guys here at Dynamite Download. But to me, like, my eyes were glued to Bowens this whole match. The guy who had so many great moments ringside. His character work ringside was spot on. He was so over the top and getting involved like as much as possible, and it worked so well. So Bowens, man, props to that stuff, man. He looks great and was just doing some hilarious character work. But that aside, the Symphony, Powerbomb Symphony is no match for anyone. And this is just, such a common theme. If we look back on our show graphics, I think the last 3 or 4 weeks, this has been like our title track. And like, it's just same results, different city. Same results, different city.
Yes, sir.
Eat,
stacking
sleep,
the bodies,
Powerbomb.
brother.
That's right, man. Line them up, knock them down, man.
And what's getting more and more impressive about the War Dog is that, the competition is starting to get higher. He still makes it look easy. I mean, Blade is one of the best pound per pound, one of the strongest guys in AEW. Just an absolute powerhouse for his size. Caster is a guy who we all see as a real, like, dynamic, charismatic young superstar. And Wardlow puts them away with ease. I mean, this dude, once he gets locked in, it's unbelievable what he's capable of. And one of the things too that put things in perspective, I mean, you and I have talked, we're going on about how great Anthony Bowens has looked. Really, I mean, the dude looks like $1 million too right now. But just how big Wardlow is. I mean, when Bowens went to attack him post match and Wardlow just ragdolled him, it was like that really was a jarring visual, because Bowens is not small. I mean, that dude's muscular. He's a powerhouse in his own right, and he is the muscle of the Acclaim. But dude, he got absolutely destroyed by Wardlow. I mean, and I'm loving the hostility that's happening, the continuing to build on itself. This Sean Spears stuff, dude, I know MJF gets a lot of props for how he's been playing this story with Wardlow, but Sean Spears has played a very critical role in this. His character work has been phenomenal, hilarious stuff. And he's the accountability buddy is really egging Wardlow on. I think like the more he comes out to these matches, the more he doesn't help Wardlow and then tries to steal the spotlight. It's just working on a whole nother level, and it's building Wardlow's character without really having him to say anything.
Just sitting there and watching him work and just like, okay, you can handle it. And then coming in to pick up the sloppy seconds,
Yeah, just coming in and stealing the spotlight for himself. The match was another example, I think, of why we love Wardlow. Is
You're
his
right.
offense is so impactful, and for a big man, I think he does do a good job of selling his opponent's offense. I think that Wardlow is a really smart in-ring competitor. You know, when we saw the Blade matchup, how Blade worked on Wardlow's knee,
Mm-hmm.
and Wardlow really was staggered and stumbling through a lot of that match. In this one, Max didn't get a ton of offense in that was on, like, most of it was in picture.
I
Um,
know.
but it was, for a big man, Wardlow does a really great job at pretty much everything. He's not just that hoss like a Goldberg. This dude can do it all.
You're
I'm
right, man.
really excited that Wardlow, my pick for 2021 breakout star of the year and 2022 breakout star of the year, is certainly on track to make me look smart. I am so geeked about this breakout that's coming for the War Dog.
Smart Mark Crayfish.
You know it, baby.
The
Cleveland born
Hangman.
badass, as I like
That's
to
right.
call him.
Cleveland Board Badass, as it says in our intro video.
That's
Like, I got that
right.
clip of you saying that. Hangman Adam Page made his way to the ring and was quickly interrupted by the other Adam, as we hear. Adam Cole calling Hangman Adam Page the other Adam. Man, this slow build to this, there were seeds planted all throughout these two guys face to face for a while now. And the other than Adam Cole's hands being as orange as a pumpkin, this promo was like, my eyes were locked on these guys, man. I'm like, what are they going to talk about? What are they going to do next? Like, the thought of this match together is really incredible stuff, man. I liked that they showed a little mutual respect, but it's all part of Adam Cole being that little, poking those buttons, pushing those buttons, that heel work that he's doing. And then as he was walking away, that smirk. And then, of course, I'm like, he's going to be attacked. He's going to be attacked. I mean, we haven't seen Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish in a while, and which we saw later in the show.
Kyle O'Reilly joining Team Dad.
You're right. You team DAD. I have a feeling the Young Bucks are going to come to Hangman's aid. We saw it with Kenny. We saw, not necessarily come to their aid, but they just gave him the nod as the passing of the throne. And now that Adam Cole is kind of split between these two teams, I almost feel like we talked about if anyone was going to help out the Young Bucks versus an Adam Cole kind of squad, it would have to be Kenny. But now that it's making more sense, like this could be Hangman. It could be the redemption of Hangman with the Young Bucks, and Young Bucks and Hangman. It would be a perfect way to transition them back to baby faces. So I'm more intrigued.
I know you're desperate for that to happen.
I'm really intrigued by these these things that are starting to play out slowly but surely. This promo was great, and if we get this match, do you think we're going to get a Adam Cole Adam Page match at Revolution? Is that too soon, or is it going to be a longer build?
Well, I mean, things certainly came to a head tonight. I mean, this one escalated quickly. Typical Adam Cole dirtbag. This guy that's it. He talked about how his track record is that he always wins the championships everywhere he goes, but he also has a track record of just being an absolute dirtbag everywhere he goes too. I saw this one coming from a mile away, but I think there's no other clear championship contender. Hangman just knocked off Lance Archer.
Right.
Adam Cole has been as protected of a superstar in AEW that there is since he's debuted. So he's certainly been built as a credible world championship contender.
Right.
And I think tonight really laid the foundation for why these two would go toe to toe. Not only the beatdown that happened from Red Dragon and Adam Cole, which was just a bunch of hyenas going after the champ, but
good point.
The history between these guys, I think that they told a story in that promo, and at times I had a hard time following it because I was so distracted by Adam Cole's hands. But the story that these guys have, I'm telling you, man, you are the champion of Team Babyface. The world champion should be on a pedestal for you right now because this guy is really winning me over.
Yeah.
I remember being there at the first All Out when he challenged Jericho for the world championship and Jericho won. And back then I was in the crowd and I just didn't think that Hangman was ready yet. And I just had that feeling that like this kid has a lot of talent, but he just doesn't have it's not all there yet. And dude, he has come such a long way in a short period of time. I am
His
so
title
impressed.
reign has been A+ in my opinion, and like JR and the announcing like he likes to donate blood. I think his was one of the more. It hasn't been a frequent, but it's been an impactful title run.
Yeah.
And the scars are showing, and clearly he's leaving every match he's had. He's been busted open. And Hangman Adam Page, man, I don't think anyone's stopping him right now. But Adam Cole like I said, that's the notches on his belt. If he beat Kenny Omega, he gave Danielson his first loss in AEW. He took down the Murder Hawk Monster in an epic fashion, a brutal match. If he can give Adam Cole Bebe his first true loss in AEW, those are accolades that not many can have.
Yep.
And then after that, like,
well,
it's
and
incredible.
the thing is too, I mean, like there's two points that I'd like to make here is one is Adam Cole is also that much more of a threat because of the numbers game that he always likes to have in his favor. And we saw him kind of call out Hangman's friends and the Dark Order came to his rescue. So it was good that AEW reintroduced that Hangman has that backup too. I think that's much needed when you go into a feud with Adam Cole because you know that he's got that pack mentality he always has.
Sure.
And the second is, after that Hangman Adam Page match against the Murder Hawk, you and I talked about how Hangman has shown different sides of his character throughout his challenges along the way. Kenny really challenging his belief in himself. Never being able to get over the hump of Kenny Omega and living in his shadow as a tag team partner. And then Danielson really challenging him to say, you're the world champion, but I'm the best wrestler on the planet. Can you go toe to toe with me? Right. And lasting in a 60-minute match with him, right? And slaying the dragon. Then transitioning to the Murder Hawk and going into literally a death match with an absolute monster who is fueled by hurting people. Oof. And coming out the other side as still the champion. You're setting the tone for a story being told of Adam Page's championship reign.
Yeah.
And this is another example where I loved this is the now champion Hangman Page looking back on his past and conquering another demon, conquering another challenge from his past, gaining that confidence. And I think in this sense, starting to become more and more comfortable in his own skin, recognizing who he is and who he's not. He's not like Adam Cole. He's not this Bullet Club gang warfare sneak attack beat up he's not a bad guy. He's not wired that way.
Right.
And I think that's another huge defining point of his character as he continues on as a champion. I think the story is going to really unfold in the next couple of weeks, and you're going to be eating it up because, man, are they going to just continue to build up those babyface vibes of Hangman, dude. He's crushing it right now.
So talk about agree with you 100%, man. I cannot wait. But talk about a story unfolding I hate to even say this, and the title right there, the Inner Circle
I wanted
implodes.
to talk to you about this all night.
Oh man. So Inner Circle is, going toe to toe. Jericho and Hager, first off, they look like $1,000,000. Those guys are just absolute great shape, and so are Santana and Ortiz. But if you can't, I don't know. If there nothing's going wrong, you got to go toe to toe. I'm so
I
torn
know
with
you're
this.
hurt.
I'm
I
so
know.
torn with this. I do not want them to break up. This match was one of my favorite matches of the night. I mean, it was getting This Is Awesome chance. It was going back and forth. I wish I had a little bit stronger finish, in my opinion. The
Yeah, the
crowd is
lariat was a
so
little
over.
shocking.
So over for Eddie. The crowd is so over for Eddie. I have a little sour taste in my mouth at Eddie, just because I don't want him to be the reason why they break up the Inner Circle. Then I put on a poll on our Twitter. I was like, do you want to see Santana and Ortiz with Eddie or Inner Circle, bonding together? And the poll won that Santana and Ortiz with Eddie. I know it's like the new fresh take,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and like I've said before, like if the Inner Circle does truly break up, it's still going to be a win-win, because we're going to see hopefully a push for Santana Ortiz if they do get this title shot, win one of the battle royales in the next week or two that they have for that 3-way tag team title match at Revolution. That being said, if they break up, I know Jericho is so creative and will figure something out, but I just feel like Jericho is so strong right now with the Inner Circle, even though they're not necessarily clicking on all cylinders like they have been with, the death or the Stadium Stampedes and the Blood and Guts and all that. But what do you want to happen from this, man?
Well,
As the heel,
I'll get to that. I mean, I think that I love just watching you.
oh, I'm so bummed.
You're navigating how you feel on the fly with me here, because I know you're still struggling to really digest the fact that this could be the end of your favorite group in the company. So I love seeing you kind of work through that. But to me, I'll let the story play itself out. What I love to see is, as the tag team guy, I'm loving to see these Santana Ortiz, a group that, I mean, we've been pounding the desk. These guys deserve more rub. These guys have proven over and over and over again that they can be the leaders of this division. And it just takes me watching these guys go tonight. Takes me back to a lot of conversations you and I have had about their growth. Santana was a guy that you and I talked about week after week after week, just how much he impressed us and how much he started to kind of grow into his own. This is not the same guy that was in LAX and Impact and all this stuff. This is not the same guy. This is not the same guy who was in Jericho's shadow as kind of another player of the Inner Circle. This is a guy who can hold his own on the microphone, has proven that he could spit fire and can hang with the best of them on the mic.
Right.
And
you're right.
Both of these guys have transformed their look. Santana looks so much bigger. I mean, the size difference between him and Jericho at points was kind of shocking. He looks like a legitimate stud. And
you're right.
I don't know. This was more about the coronation of these guys really breaking through. And I hope that at bare minimum, from a story perspective, maybe this leads to a stronger Inner Circle because they've gained Jericho's respect. If it leads to them breaking up, as long as I'm cool with either. I'm just glad that Santana Ortiz are getting the spotlight they deserve, that they're getting the rub that they deserve.
That's what I want to see more than anything, is I want to see them get what they deserve and grow more and more and more, because like you said, it was almost a year ago today where we saw them versus the Young Bucks live in Jacksonville, where we were all in. I mean, they were heels at the time. We were all in, like, get the belts. This is their chance.
Let's go.
The best.
Right.
And so, and they've it's been a roller coaster for them, and I think they needed to get pushed right now because they deserve it, man. They really do.
And their performances over the throughout all this have at times. I mean, you've talked about it with me. Ortiz, Santana, they both have stolen the spotlight at times, and I don't know. I personally think that these guys deserve everything that they're spitting about right now. They deserve to have the spotlight. They don't deserve to be fighting Jericho's battles. They have their own goals, and maybe this is what needs to happen in order for them to get that tag title run. And what a cool story that would be then, right? Is that these are guys that have come into their own, have gained the confidence, and have refocused their vision that we can have friends and we can have these different side relationships, but what is important to us? What's going to put food on our table? And I don't know, man. I think that this is the breakout that we've been begging for. It just unfortunately has to come at the expense of your favorite faction in the company.
Big time. It is such a sad thing to think of, but I'm a huge Santana Ortiz supporter for sure. Another supporter here at Dynamite Download, our first AEW or talent that we interviewed in our existence was Thunder Rosa in a no DQ match for I'm reading the comments. Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez in a no DQ match. Very interesting stuff before the match was that promo by the DMD Britt Baker. I know she brought Mercedes in to kind of take out Thunder Rosa for good because obviously she's her number one threat to the gold and number one threat to the top throne of the division. And so obviously Jamie Hayter and Rebel and and DMD can't take out Thunder, but so she needs even more muscle. But what I liked about this was the respect. And, I kind of was thinking that I was like, when DMD was threatening Mercedes, I feel like now Thunder actually might have someone on her side afterwards.
Yeah.
We're getting that. We might get that. We might get that after all. Someone finally helping out Thunder. I know Thunder's always coming to the aid of the young AEW roster women's division, and so this was a brutal match. It was, a lot of big spots that were very, very physical. Thunder started very, very strong. I love anytime wrestlers will go and fight in the crowd or come out of the crowd. I don't know. I'm a sucker for that. I mark out for that. And Thunder, grabbing one of the fans' hand to help her get up on the railing and jump off the top. It was good stuff, man. And then Mercedes definitely showed up well, man. She's a powerhouse in amongst herself. So Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter, the thought of that is a lot of very compelling, very interesting. I want to see that. That fisherman buster through the table, even though the table was, not fully on there, and it was awesome. And
that spider German suplex off the top, looked like it crumpled.
My neck is sore watching that.
That was brutal. That combination of moves where Martinez did that German off the top and then followed it up with, she slipped a little with that elbow, but it looked like the elbow. It looked like the elbow caught Thunder a little bit, and that was one of those moments in this match where I was like, oh my god, Thunder just went through hell. These two, this is one of my favorite portrayals of Thunder Rosa, who is to me such an incredible baby face. I love watching her do her thing, how fired up she gets, how fired up the fans get whenever she's out there. But I love seeing Thunder.
Babyface. Someone likes to be a babyface, eh?
Dude, Thunder Rosa is the one character in AEW who consistently gets me to just mark out as a babyface fan. I love seeing her do her thing. I think she's incredible at what she does, and I think that there is just she's just a natural at it. She's not a lot of times with baby faces, dude. There's a lot of they feel like they're trying too hard, and to be the good guy, and they have to be this altruistic, perfect person, and all these things. And I know that some of that stuff has backfired on other characters in the past. Sure. Thunder Rosa, it just feels so natural. It just is who she is. We've experienced it. Just a genuinely easy person to root for, and I love when she's put in the presentation where she is the underdog and has to fight up. So in this example, fighting a Mercedes Martinez, who is a powerhouse, just being put into that position, and then the numbers game with Britt post match, it just continues to pour more and more support in Thunder's corner. And when you have that, when you have all that building up, and you have someone like Thunder Rosa who knows how to capitalize on that goodwill, just brilliant move on AEW's part. Now, I like how Britt has slowly but surely started to acknowledge that Thunder is her greatest threat, and her entire title reign, easy to say, has been defined by her almost trying to ignore the Thunder Rosa problem. And I think that that's starting to come to a head here. Really think that this is going to – I mean, do you see this happening at Revolution? Do you see these two going toe-to-toe?
No, because this – I think this could be the first women's main event pay-per-view match. So give us a long build, which is not that typical for AEW. Or I feel like I don't want this rush to be a match at Revolution. A tag match or something, or even if they don't wait till the next Double or Nothing, which is still a long ways away. I feel like, as we know, this is a main event worthy feud. And if you are going to advance the women's division and invest in these two superstars, which they are, make this a main event at a pay-per-view. Why not?
I mean,
you have Hangman quality pops. If when Thunder dethrones Britt, you're going to get Hangman quality pops.
I can't argue against it. You do know that regardless of if that ends up happening,
right?
This is going to be the women's match that, like, of the pay-per-view, of the quarter. It's gonna, like, of the year. I mean, these two, we've seen it. These two have they have such great chemistry with each other. No matter where they are on the card, SPD, I have the utmost confidence that these two will deliver. They just work perfectly off of each other. I would love to see AEW lean into that. That would be the culmination of what you and I have talked about. They've had a lot of firsts. Britt and Thunder have had a lot of firsts in AEW history for the women's division. It would only be fitting that they also get the first main event for a women's championship match. I love the idea.
Not many people deserve it more than them. I mean, there's some other roster. There is some other people, Jade and Deeb and Sheeta and all that. But I think the feud level hasn't been matched with these two.
Yeah. I almost. You got to have the match at Revolution. I wanted to say I almost want them to continue to just milk this, and stretch it out past Revolution.
Right.
Maybe we end up seeing Britt somehow, some way retain the title, and then there's the I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't want this. I'm in a position where I want it so bad, but I don't want it to be over either. You know what I mean? Like you just, it's one of those things that you're counting down the days for these two to go toe to toe again, but you don't want it to happen because the chase to get there is so much fun. The buildup is so great to see. There's a lot left here, and I love the Kill Bill vibes from Thunder.
So awesome.
When you think about her journey and her story, it fits perfectly against Britt and her cronies.
Yeah.
The aesthetic alone was phenomenal. Thunder really was a showman tonight. Really enjoyed that. And we've seen her have this kind of format before. Thunder's really good and like where she's just able to go all out and go crazy, right? Like where she's able to have no holds barred, just beat the shit out of her opponent, just kind of crazy violence. Big fan.
And that's why she was your top performer of the night.
Yes, sir.
Clearly, you just hyped it up why she was yours, and a very, very, very close second for my top performer as well with her outstanding showing. But Sammy Guevara for the main event tonight. retaining his title, not necessarily in the most epic fashion to get the victory, but I think what Sammy Guevara showed in this match was truly incredible work, man. The guy is absolutely fearless. His high spots, his stuff that he did on the top rope was really incredible. So, I mean, that was my top performer of the night. So, Sammy successfully defended Sammy against Darby Allin, which is an ex-TNT champion. This match, it was so fun to watch.
These guys have amazing chemistry together.
The crowd was so over insane for this, chanting Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, and just both guys, like you said, the chemistry is there. The in-ring work together works so well. There's no missed spots. There's so many great high spots. There's so much violence. Like,
preach it, SPD.
Sammy Guevara, man, some of the stuff off the top ropes, that one insane Spanish fly or whatever he did off the top rope with Darby, man, I couldn't even follow how many flips he was going. The cutter through the ropes, Sammy or Darby going for the tope suicida, and then he does the RKO out of nowhere to him on the ground. This one was so fun to watch, and this is one of those matches that I always say Sammy Guevara is one of the reasons why you go to live events. You go see the height that someone can get, the risks that someone goes through. You heard the crowd pop, and we'd be popping just as loud because it's just incredible performer inside and outside the ring. Like, he never thinks twice about anything. He just goes for it. And it just, the things that look so effortless with Sammy, it's incredible, man. I'm all for this run for him to be this fighting champion because he's putting on show-stealing moments, show-stealing matches week in and week out anytime he's defending this belt, man. Fantastic main event. Where they go from here, I think it seems like Darby and Sammy to team up. You think that would happen, or Sting and Darby to team up? I don't know. Andrade stole the belts and went left with both belts.
I don't know where the story goes. I could certainly see Andrade inserting him. He has inserted himself into this one, and there's no going back. I'm not going to even touch the match. I think you absolutely nailed your analysis of these two. Both guys, absolute daredevils, push themselves to the absolute limit. Their chemistry is incredible. I loved it, and the crowd ate it up. And this is a match where you talk about, if you were there live, just go bonkers. This is the type of match where you're standing up the whole time, just enjoying every second. Love both their styles together. But I am very intrigued by the potential of an Andrade versus Sammy, versus Darby. I'm all in, man. This could be we're hearing it in the chat. A three-way dance between Darby, Andrade, and Sammy for the belt would be just absolutely killer. Andrade's been kind of hilariously kind of going after Darby for weeks now. The little man who works for Sting, his friend who works for Sting, he's been going after Darby. So the feud there is obviously it's ripe for the picking. But Andrade looks real good with gold, dude. This is a guy who just oozes star power, who just walks the walk, talks the talk. The dude is just he feels like a superstar. He feels like a champion. His in-ring work, I'm telling you, when you throw him in the ring with Sammy or my guy Darby, choo-choo, it's going to be incredible. So I love what they're doing. All the stuff that's surrounding the TNT Championship right now, it's really going a long way in catapulting Sammy into, like you talked about, one of the most exciting champions in this company's history already. And I know he had the interim title and all that stuff makes his title reign feel shorter than it really has been. But there's a real excitement about his matches, man. There's an energy about when Sammy Guevara steps into the ring. Always. You know that guy is going to give you everything he's got to get you to jump out of your seat and go bonkers. And when you have a champion, like a face of a company, that's all you could ever ask for. This kid is the real deal, man. I'm again, this is tonight's show is quickly turning into Crayfish being the baby face, man. I'm eating
Wow.
up. AEW is doing an incredible job of presenting their baby faces in a way that is just very natural
Right.
and very strong. When you talk about Hangman, Thunder, Sammy, across the board, I think this company is really going all in on that connection with the fans, and I think it's really important to continue this brand's upward trajectory.
You're absolutely right, man. And next week's card is in Rampage is going to be a lot of fun, even though it's going to be at a new time. For the time being, everyone, we want to say thank you for joining us. But for the time being, we are going to be doing one show a week. Dynamite Download, our OG show, Wednesday nights after Dynamite. And so no Rampage rundown this week, but Rampage is on a special time tonight or on Friday at 7. We're going to see Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin. We're going to see Jay White debut. We're going to see Adam Cole Bay versus 10, who we interviewed as well. Great guy. So when you're following us, unfortunately, enjoy your Fridays, but join us on Wednesdays. We are here. Crayfish, the new DAD. We're working on our scheduling, and we got a nice interview coming up very soon. But the next Dynamite, 2 more Dynamites to Revolution. It's going to be a lot going on, and as we've consistently talked about, every week of Dynamite has a totally different storyline feel of a main event. It's not the predictable main events. Like, so many times where they release the cards of what's going to happen, I'm like, what's going to be the main event? It's not always a clear cut what it's going to be, and that's what's fun about Dynamite for sure. So
Absolutely,
a lot of great stuff coming. I want to thank you guys for joining us for Dynamite Download episode 73. Chat with us online on social all week, and we'll be in touch, and let us know your thoughts on Rampage. We're going to be live tweeting it while we're watching the show as well. So enjoy your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday for Dynamite Download episode 74 plus in a new interview release sometime next week as well. So we got an interview set on Thursday for that as well. So thank you guys, and we'll see you later. Baby.